Wolverine! Arrgh. Everybody loves him. He's the most popular X-Men character ever. Even though that honor should go solely to Beak. He'll be on the big screen eventually, Beak. I believe in you. Wolverine is also set to reappear as some sort of multiversal version of himself in Deadpool 3. So I figured I'd better start chatting about Wolverine. Now, Wolverine has some great stories. And he has some bad stories as well. But this is without a doubt the absolute worst Wolverine story I've ever read in my life. And this comic is literally this X-Men meme. Yeah, that one right there, number 6. Released in 2007, written by Jeff Loeb with art by Simone Bianchi. This is Wolverine Evolution. The book begins at, okay, what is this? There's just cat people slaughtering each other on the second page? And it's a double-page splash? Wolverine narrates that these horrible things are called lupine. So they're actually dogmen. Also, this is like a dream that Wolverine's been having, or we'll learn later that he might also be hallucinating and somehow viewing alternate universes of himself. Is this where the writer of Multiverse of Madness got the idea? Anyway, the lupine freak that looks like Wolverine kills the one that looks like Sabretooth. Cut to the real world. Wolverine picks the lock of the X-Mansion, because I guess Professor X was too cheap to upgrade it to Shi'ar Empire technology. And he heads inside and finds Rogue. Don't get excited. This is all she appears in the book, thankfully. She watches as Wolverine walks down the hall to Sabretooth's room, where he's watching either porn or calisthenics. They speak to each other in cliches, and Wolverine tosses Sabretooth out of the window as Sabretooth says that he's protected by the X-Men now. Then Wolverine snicks his claws in this, honestly, killer panel. And something you'll notice about this story is that the art is fantastic. It's incredible. And the story just fucking sucks. It's horrible. I hate it so much. They fight for a bit and keep yelling about how stupid and dead each other are, until Sabretooth gains the upper hand and wrenches Wolverine by the throat, lifts him up, and just strangles him to death. Then Wolverine has a memory of when he was living off the grid in the Canadian wilderness in a little cabin with his girlfriend or whoever. Sabretooth then shows up, kills Logan's girlfriend, and they have a brutal fight in a small Canadian town. Oh my god, is this where the writer of X-Men Origins Wolverine got the idea from? Then he flashes back even further, but not as far as that memory, because now we get Ed McGuinness Wolverine. I lied when I said that other guy was the only artist on the book. Because I wanted it to be a surprise. Because this is the best part of the book right here, and I don't know what purpose it serves. It's a recreation of Incredible Hulk 180 by Ed McGuinness, and the colors almost ruin it. Look, I get what Dave McCraig was going for, and there really hadn't been that many comics in the mainstream that attempted to emulate the style of older books to this level, but good God! The color halftone effect from Photoshop is just used too much and so poorly it hurts to look at. And it doesn't help that the colors aren't flat either. It just hurts to look at, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but here I go. The Custodians Agents of Cross does a far better job at emulating old comics than this section of the book does. It's not really obvious what the hell is going on, because this is like, it's described as like a different section of the book. Like the part where Wolverine and Sabretooth are fighting, and it's like, ooh, to be continued. And then it cuts to this, like it's a new issue or an episode. And it has a full title and everything. But like it still kind of plays into the overall story? But this is the only time something like this happens? What? Anyway, Wolverine gets killed by the Hulk following this fight, and he sees himself getting ripped apart in the Ultimate Universe. That's right, this book has an Ultimate X-Men tie-in from that part where Wolverine and the Ultimate Hulk fought in, like, Mongolia, and Hulk had a harem full of concubines. Oh, Christ, I hate this lupine stuff. They're back, and now they're killing early humans? Wolverine reiterates what he said previously about these mysterious lupine things, and how his weird not quite a dream, not quite memories always involve a little black one with mutton chops that he calls Pup. Pup is then caught on fire. Somehow. And then he's picked up and dragged into a stream where a mysterious black figure soaks him in the water and leaves him on the bank. Wolverine wakes up and discovers that he's now on a strange, high-tech place. And he's been strapped down by the highest technology of all, steel chains. Well, maybe not steel chains, because he somehow shatters them. How? Okay, how? What? How? Are these actually chocolate chains wrapped in foil to look like steel, like those little chocolate coins they sell around Christmas? Then it's revealed that Sabretooth chained Wolverine to the roof of the Blackbird like a Christmas tree. And Wolverine climbs his way across and smashes inside the cockpit, and they fight for a bit as Wolverine wraps the chain around Sabretooth's neck and the Blackbird plummets into the desert below. And the two emerge from the wreckage as their healing factors return them to their pre-crash forms, and they continue fighting in utter agony. And then we get a great splash page. Look how cool this is. Skeleton Wolverine fighting bald Sabretooth. Then Wolverine starts to see unicorns and bunnies and baby deer. The craziest part about all this section right here is that that's not a memory of his. That's not his afterlife or like death playing a trick on him. This is a memory of a video that he watched in the Danger Room archives. Psylocke and Boom Boom are fighting Sabretooth, and then Sabretooth just kills Psylocke in this crazy looking page. And back in reality, lightning strikes the very ground the two stand on. No, it's not Thor, it's Storm. And suddenly we're in another universe where the lupine adventure continues. The lupines are led by a mysterious figure that saved Pup, and they ride war elephants into battle. Wolverine wonders why this version is so different from the weird prehistoric one that we just saw, and like he's like, why are the dogmen now warriors? Back in the present day of reality, aka 2007, Sabretooth and Wolverine stand before Storm and her husband, the Black Panther. Don't forget they got married in the early 2000s. Storm explains that a team of Wakandan archaeologists discovered something strange within Wakanda. Then Sabretooth breaks out of the chains, must be chocolate, and escapes from the palace. But before Wolverine can act, Black Panther is on the case. Sabretooth escapes into the heart of Africa and eventually ends up in an elephant graveyard? T'Challa, who was easily keeping pace with him, then starts kicking Sabretooth's shit in. And back at the Grand Palace, Wolverine thinks over the situation and somehow arrives at the idea that Sabretooth must have been leading them into a trap, and then he smells T'Challa's blood. I mean, he's right. It is a trap that he's leading them into. But how did everything leading up to this point get him there? So Storm carries Wolverine out of the city and into the heart of Africa, and they eventually arrive at the aforementioned elephant graveyard. Storm doesn't really see anything, but Wolverine orders her to drop him, and then he falls through what I can only assume is a force field of some kind that hides the elephant graveyard, but doesn't hide the elephant graveyard. It creates a copy, but if you go inside of it, you just kind of disappear, but you can still see it from the outside. I don't fucking know what's going on. Wolverine falls inside, and Sabretooth and Black Panther are there. Wolverine cuts off Sabretooth's hand, saving Black Panther, because Wolverine's a badass, and Black Panther can't even fight Sabretooth. Then Wolverine has a flashback to the time when he was in Japan, and Sabretooth tried to kill a woman who may or may not have been Wolverine's girlfriend. And this is also apparently the first time Wolverine met Sabretooth after he lost his memories, I guess? Back in the present, Sabretooth says he's gonna kill Storm just like he killed all those other women, okay. And Storm says that if Wolverine wants to kill Sabretooth, she won't stop him. But then she asks Logan if he wants to know why Sabretooth led them here. What? Are they, in on something? Black Panther says that the answer is at their feet, and Wolverine looks down at the elephant graveyard. It's still the elephant graveyard. But he also notices some crazy-looking skulls of those lupine things. Okay, now for some reason the comic is black and white, and the artist is seemingly taking inspiration from Kent Williams' amazing take on Wolverine. In his weird memory, alternate reality visions, whatever is happening, Wolverine watches as Roman gladiators fight in a coliseum. He watches the gladiators defeat tigers, and then the short gladiator with pierced nipples. The artist of this book really enjoys drawing men's nipples. It happens a lot, and I bet he draws women's nipples too when it's not a Marvel comic book. The little one defeats the big one, and he looks up to the shadowy emperor who provides the thumbs down, and the warrior beheads the failed gladiator as the crowd shout, Romulus. Ooh, what could it mean? It means that Jeff Loeb created something specifically for these shitty 6 issues, and all the writers that came afterward didn't want to do it. Ooh, so they retconned it. Ooh, but I'll talk about that later. Ooh. Then Wolverine wakes up and discovers that he's been sleeping for 2 whole days. Later, T'Challa and the others investigate the skulls of the lupine and discover that they are, in fact, humanoid dog people, or as Storm dubs them, lupus sapiens. Then T'Challa brings up the number of mutants who are dog-like. And then he's like, oh, well, you know, there's plenty of evidence that humanity originated in Africa, and the Wakandans have a spiritual and physical bond between man and animal. It all makes sense. This adds up perfectly. See you later, Wolverine. We solved another case. Later, Wolverine visits Sabretooth, who has been locked up in substantially stronger bonds. They talk for a bit, and Sabretooth says that he's older than Logan, and that the road that Logan is on leads him to end up just like Victor. Creed tells him that when humans get old, they go crazy. So what happens to beasts like them? And Wolverine asks who Romulus is, but Sabretooth says he's keeping his trap shut. Later, Wolverine sleeps on the floor because he doesn't like how soft the beds are, but he wakes up! You see, he can't fall asleep because when he asked Sabretooth about who Romulus was, he saw something that Wolverine has never seen before on Sabretooth's face. Fear. So he heads out to find the kitchen and get a beer when he discovers several dead guards and an escaped Sabretooth. Eventually, his search leads him to the sewers, I guess. And he's attacked by a long-clawed feral man with nipple piercings and a leather gimp suit. No, it's not a weird alternate reality version of Sabretooth like I first thought it was. It's Wild Child, the fucking dumb little character that looks like a little Sabretooth that people only know of because of Age of Apocalypse, where they made him a dumb little character who's a little version of Sabretooth. He tosses Wolverine and just runs away, and Wolverine literally says in this book, "Wild Child? What the fuck just happened? Wild Child is a loser from Alpha Flight." This weird high-tech sewer eventually leads to a giant waterfall, and Wolverine escapes out of it and realizes that, what the fuck's his name? Wild Child, there you go, had poisoned his claws. Then he wakes up in the exact same page! That's right, it was all a dream, or was it? But this time there's like some sexy wolf-related characters, and Sasquatch. This episode is brought to you by my comics, specifically the Custodians Agents of Cross, which I am serializing over on my Patreon, patreon.com/smokiesvideos. It's over 60 pages of pure comics for only $15, but you can see it serialized weekly over on my Patreon for as little as $2. It is a love letter to the Silver Age filled with fun characters, crazy stories, and even fake advertisements. I'm also serializing each issue of Destructo Boy, a fun sci-fi zany epic that is fit for the whole family and follows a little robot on a giant space station as he battles crime, villainy, and giant monsters and whatever threats should arise to his home. Each weekly serialized post includes commentary and annotations on the comic. I am also posting commentary tracks for the MCU, the Snyderverse, and any movies in general over at Pop Pop Popcorn, which I will be posting a audio commentary track of any movie and a follow-up discussion video. There's also behind-the-scenes progress posts of The Custodians as I am working on it, original art, and much more. Holy shit, look at this splash page of Captain America and Wolverine killing Nazis! Oh yeah, sorry, we're in the 40s now. Wolverine and Cap split up as Logan goes after the Nazis' commanding officer, and he discovers it's Sabretooth! That's right, Sabretooth, Victor Creed, was a Nazi.
I don't know if you know that the Nazis lost that war. If you were a Nazi after the war, and if you were a vampire, and if you were a Nazi vampire, no way.
Then he blows himself and Wolverine up, and Wolverine wakes up as T'Challa's private jet lands? What? Did the weird lupine mutants have to drug him with milk like B.A. Baracus and A-Team or something? They land in Canada at the Weapon X facility. Wolverine tells the weird furry team to stay behind as he heads inside. Then the girls head back to the jet while Sasquatch keeps watch. Doesn't do a very good job of it because he's immediately put down by this weird little twink with evil claws. Back inside, Feral actually went in after Wolvie, and they discover Sabretooth in a giant test tube. And the dialogue does nothing but baffle the reader and make it feel like a dream. which is seemingly Loeb's intent to just be nonsensical like a dream? You'd hope so, right? Then Sabretooth explodes out of the tube and they fight for a bit, until Sabretooth fucks Wolverine up so much that he has a flashback to the Weapon X experiments, which Sabretooth was apparently at and witnessed. Why won't this end? Why is this comic still going? Oh my god, what is the story that is trying to be told here? Stuff is just happening. It's endless. It won't stop. It just keeps going and going. Why you hate this so much? Wolverine wakes the fuck back up and limps outside, where he finds a dying Sasquatch and Sabretooth, who just finished disemboweling Feral. Oh, and now Cyclops is holding the fucking Muramasa blade against Wolverine at the X-Mansion, as Sabretooth happens to watch from the sky, and Emma Frost stands around all sexy-like. Cyclops is mad because this is, oh yeah, there it is. The other X-Men ruined Scott Summers' day. So Emma looks into Logan's mind and sees Sabretooth just killing women. I guess that's what he does. And then she throws up and tells Scott to give Wolverine the sword. I should point out, apparently Wolverine trekked all the way back to Westchester from Canada, following that, to get the Muramasa blade, which is a special blade that he had made to, like, counteract healing abilities, such as his own, in case he ever went badder, I guess, and he entrusted it to Cyclops. Cyclops won't give it back when he asks for it. Usually when someone entrusts an item to you, Scott, it's more of like a loan thing than, here, this is yours now. Then a bunch of stupid stuff happens, and there's an obnoxious amount of Logan's narrations, so I'm just gonna skip all of it. Logan sits in the middle of the mountains with his sword when Sabretooth rocks up in his classic costume. And Wolverine just fucking cuts his arm off, and Sabretooth picks it up to reattach it, but it plops onto the ground. Wolverine explains to Sabretooth the origins of the Muramasa blade, and says that if Sabretooth truly is his future, then creating the sword specifically to kill Logan was justified. He tells Creed that if there's anything left inside his mind that's still human, it's about to end. And Sabretooth begins crying and tells Logan to just kill him already. So Wolverine decapitates Sabretooth as lightning strikes. Oh, god damn it. Can't even enjoy this before goddamn Wild Child pops back up, and Wolverine literally says, "Who the fuck is Romulus?" Wild Child tells him that Romulus was the first, and that Wolverine is just a... Oh no. Oh. Wolverine is apparently part of a lineage of 2 warriors. One blonde and one black. That's how it's described in the book. Because that is how Romulus wanted them to exist. There has always been a black warrior, there's always been a blonde warrior, and they have been killing each other for centuries upon eons upon trillions of years. That's right. We're doing the early 2000s thing of making superheroes part of some grander cosmic origin. I fucking hate it. I hate it! Logan says Wild Child's full of shit, and then from behind him a shadowy figure says it's all true. Logan spins around, but nothing is there. Then he turns around again, and Wild Child is gone. Then Wolverine holds the Muramasa blade aloft and shouts, "Romulus! Whatever you wanna bring it, do it! I'm ready for you!" Like he's a fucking wrestler. The end. Let me know what you thought of this train wreck of a comic in the comments below. Any other absolute pinnacle worst stories of popular comic book characters not since past? My god, did I hate this book. What the fuck is going on here? I haven't read anything before or after this terrible comic from this Wolverine series from the 2000s. Actually, that's not true. I probably read the Civil War and Secret Invasion tie-ins that no doubt happened. What the fuck did I just make you watch? What the fuck did I just read? What was that? Seriously? What the fuck, Jeff Loeb? What? I can excuse the racism, but I draw the line at shitty Wolverine stories that are utterly nonsensical.
You can excuse racism.
I finished writing the script, and I literally had to stand up from my desk and walk out to the living room where my wife was watching television and just curl up on the floor and start crying and tell her that I just read the worst goddamn Wolverine story in existence. Wretched is what this is. Absolutely terrible. God, I hate it. What was this? I have nothing to say other than that. And then the worst part is that I'm pretty sure the follow-up writers don't go in any direction that Jeff Loeb really established. Like, they established, oh, Romulus was the one who's, like, he's not actually really old. He's fucking implanting Wolverine with fucking stupid memories that are fake or something. And remember that elephant graveyard? Romulus actually made that. He fabricated ancient history and fossils and skeletons and shit to make Wolverine believe that he is from a lineage of dogmen for some reason. And also Romulus gets killed. And then he has a brother that shows up. And he's like, yeah, my brother was a fucking dumbass. Oh my god, if you want to support me in any way to help my mental health, which I'll no doubt have to visit a doctor for after reading this book, check out my Etsy where I'm selling my comics Destructo Boy and Agents of Cross, which should be getting restocked soon. Or if you don't want to buy the physical copies, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/smokiesvideos, where I upload audio commentaries. I upload annotated comic pages. I serialize Destructo Boy, all 5 issues, and the first issue of the Custodians on there with my own commentary and annotations on each page. I upload original art and stuff like that. I'm uploading audio commentaries. I already covered that one. I'm doing Rebel Moon and Iron Man 2. And check out my new Fallout gaming series. Currently, I'm playing through Fallout 3 and Fallout 76. There's sort of part roleplay, part gameplay, and I put a lot of work into each video, and I'm really happy with how they're turning out. So check that out. Get ready for the Fallout TV show. Oh my god, I don't know anymore. I feel broken. Bye.